1469, Europe's crowns trembled not from armies, but from the shadows in men's minds. Fear was the true weapon, and he was learning it. Even silence could terrify. Power never reveals itself in light. It hides, watches, and waits. One observer learned to see through every mask. His words were not meant for hope, they were weapons. He dissected truth like a surgeon, and truth cut deeper than swords. Florence, 1469. Beauty masked brutality. Every alley held whispers of betrayal. Art thrived next to assassination. City-states were chessboards. Kings were pieces. Moves were lethal. He had no inheritance, no protection. Only intellect. Only patience. 1490s, Florence erupts in chaos. Preachers, politicians, and mercenaries collide. Fear becomes a tool. He observes silently. Mobs cheer. Leaders plot. He notes every weakness. 1498, age 29. He enters government. Not to rule. To study power in motion. He travels on dangerous missions. Kings smile politely, then plan death. He writes it all in memory. France taught ambition. Spain taught discipline. Rome taught corruption perfected. Cesare Borgia, 1502. A prince of terror. Precision in cruelty became a lesson. Cruelty, when decisive, stabilizes power. Mercy, when misused, destroys. Observation teaches the cost of indecision. 1502 to 1503. Weakness is lethal. Hesitation is fatal. Only clarity survives. Everything fell. 1512, Republic overthrown. Chaos returned overnight. Arrested, tortured, exiled. Power is brutal. Justice is performative. Exile is silence. Thoughts are weapons. Observation becomes obsession. Nights spent writing. Days observing farmers. Conversations with ghosts of history. 1513, manuscript begins. Not for saints, for survivors. Words sharper than blades. Humans are selfish, fearful, manipulable. Pretending otherwise destroys states. He exposes the truth. Love is fleeting. Fear endures. Lessons etched into empires silently. Rulers must be effective, not virtuous. Morality without power is hollow. Every decision has weight. The book is short. Its ideas are nuclear. Authority trembles quietly. Hoped for favor, gained infamy. Kings read secretly, condemned publicly. Paradox of power. Ideas spread like wildfire. Courts whispered. Generals applied. History validates observation. No throne regained. Influence replaced authority. Mind rules where body cannot. 1520, even enemies sought counsel. Reality reflected his writing. Hypocrisy thinned. 1527, he dies poor, dismissed. No crown marks his grave. Only controversy follows. After death, fear replaces curiosity. His work is banned. His name becomes an insult. Ideas do not die. They wait. And rulers still listen, secretly, centuries later. After exile, he returned cautiously to Florence. The city had changed, but human nature had not. He saw patterns that others ignored. He traveled to courts of Italy again, now as a subtle observer, not a participant. Every gesture, every smile, was a message. Lessons were etched in movement. Diplomacy was theater. Kings performed, courtiers pretended. He read between the lines, seeing fear and ambition as one. He understood that Cesare Borgia thrived on terror and precision. Fear disciplined citizens. Obedience became predictable. Borgia taught him the first rule: cruelty, when measured, is strategic. Mercy, when misapplied, is fatal. Observation reveals the truth of men. He realized rulers feared not rebellion, but insight. Knowledge could topple a throne quietly. Power was psychological. Florence's politics were a web. Betrayal moved faster than armies. Secrets dictated survival. He studied the Medicis and their enemies meticulously. Every misstep was an experiment, every fear a lesson. He noted how deception was institutionalized. Loyalty was always temporary. Obedience was conditional. Wealth and titles protected only briefly. Intelligence determined long-term survival. He plotted without taking power. In 1503, he watched Pope Julius II manipulate alliances like a master puppeteer. Religion became a weapon as sharp as any blade. Men feared death, but feared ridicule more. Reputation dictated action. He catalogued each human flaw meticulously. Ambition drove men to recklessness. Fear disciplined them. He observed silently, absorbing lessons like a predator. Every city-state collapse he witnessed reinforced one truth: power is amoral. Virtue can be fatal. Effectiveness is eternal. He began testing theories through correspondence. Letters became instruments of influence, revealing intent and weakness alike. Words became weapons. Silence became control. Every line was calculated for effect. Friends and enemies blurred. Observation replaced trust. Knowledge was the only currency. He saw that rulers were prisoners of perception. Fear and hope were the levers of command. Obedience could be engineered. 1505, he wrote treatises on leadership without naming names. Ideas circulated quietly, igniting fear in silent readers. Men never suspected the hand guiding thought rather than action. Subtlety became his power. He noted that appearances were more potent than reality. Perception ruled outcomes. Strategy demanded deception. Lessons hardened him. Knowledge became sharper than any sword. His mind ruled while kings flinched. By 1510, his reputation as a subtle strategist spread quietly. Few understood, many feared. Every encounter tested his theories. Every betrayal confirmed them. Observation became obsession. Men rewarded decisiveness. Hesitation brought ruin. He catalogued both with ruthless clarity. 1512, his republic collapses again. Exile looms. Power is indifferent. Arrested, accused of conspiracy. Torture confirms human cruelty. Silence becomes his ally. Released, exiled, stripped of office. Position mattered little, insight mattered everything. He begins writing what would become his most infamous work. Survival, manipulation, power, laid bare. Ideas are sharper than armies. Fear is longer lasting than loyalty. Power listens quietly, even when denied. Exile is silence and shadow. 1512, he walks the countryside alone, observing humans in their natural fear and ambition. Thought becomes his fortress. Nights are candlelit and restless. Each word he writes is a blade aimed at hidden truths. Every page tests his moral courage. 1513, he begins his most infamous work. Not to instruct virtue, but to expose survival in raw clarity. Fear endures longer than love. Men obey what they dread more than what they admire. This insight is eternal. Power is amoral. Virtue can destroy kingdoms. Effectiveness is the ultimate law. Kings read secretly. Courtiers whisper. Publicly, virtue is praised. Privately, they apply his lessons. He studies human folly relentlessly. Ambition blinds, fear guides, loyalty is fleeting. Observation sharpens into inevitability. 1515, he writes letters to powerful men, anonymously advising. Influence travels like whispers. Action unfolds unseen. Knowledge is the only weapon not banned. Ideas pierce hearts silently. Fear is contagious, ideas immortal. Exile teaches clarity. Pain teaches truth. Silence teaches patience. He reflects on past failures. Every misstep of Florence is a lesson etched in memory. History itself becomes his teacher. Men trusted appearances. He trusted patterns. Every whisper and gesture is a blueprint of intent. Friendship is transactional. Loyalty is conditional. Insight is absolute. Fear governs cities more than armies. Obedience is engineered. Power bends silently under perception. He writes of princes and survival, of virtue twisted by ambition. Each sentence is a scalpel. 1516, his fame spreads quietly, feared by some, ignored by many. Knowledge travels unseen. Observation becomes obsession. Every gesture, every lie, every panic is logged in memory. He understands human weakness intimately. Ambition kills. Fear controls. Knowledge liberates. His exile becomes a laboratory. Cities, rulers, and citizens are all experiments in survival. Insight is power that cannot be stolen. Knowledge endures where armies fail. Ideas are eternal weapons. He sees deception everywhere. Loyalty is a facade. Fear is the only currency he trusts. The world outside continues in chaos. His study becomes a kingdom of thought. 1520, his theories are being applied secretly in courts. Rulers follow his logic unknowingly. He notes that appearances rule perception. Perception rules obedience. Obedience rules kingdoms. Men never admit they read him. Fear keeps the truth secret. Yet knowledge bends power silently. He tests the balance of morality and effectiveness. Virtue is optional, survival is mandatory. His exile is complete, but influence grows. Invisible threads guide kings and armies. Letters, observations, manuscripts, all weapons. Even from isolation, he wields power. Knowledge now surpasses position. Insight eclipses crowns. Power bends to intellect. Silence is louder than armies. Thought is deadlier than swords. He waits, watching history obey. 1521, exile deepens. He wanders secluded villas, forests, and forgotten cities. Thoughts sharpen, observation becomes obsession. Candlelight flickers on parchment. Each sentence weighs like a dagger. Words become blueprints of fear and influence. Cities burn with ambition, rulers scheme. He records it silently. Knowledge becomes eternal. Betrayal is universal. Loyalty is rare. Observation reveals the fragility beneath crowns. Power obeys perception, not morality. Fear lasts longer than affection. Wisdom guides silently. He tests ideas through correspondence. Rulers unknowingly implement his lessons. The world bends subtly. Observing humans, he notes that cruelty, when measured, maintains stability. Mercy is optional. Effectiveness is eternal. Manuscripts take form. Words sharpen into silent weapons. Knowledge spreads invisibly. He reflects on past triumphs and failures. History teaches what armies cannot. Observation rules over force. Silence becomes louder than armies. Thought becomes deadlier than swords. Ideas outlive crowns. 1525, his exile continues. Yet letters and manuscripts reach palaces. Influence spreads unseen. Men fear death, rulers fear exposure. Knowledge is sharper than any blade. Ideas survive beyond bodies. Friends and enemies blur. Observation replaces trust. The mind is the ultimate power. Exile teaches clarity. Pain teaches truth. Reflection breeds precision. Fear governs loyalty. Deception rules obedience. Influence thrives quietly. He tests morality against survival. Virtue is optional, effectiveness is mandatory. His exile is complete, but ideas grow. Even kings unknowingly obey his logic. Letters, observation, manuscripts, they are his arsenal. Power bends without confrontation. Knowledge surpasses position. Insight eclipses crowns. The mind rules silently. Observation is relentless. Fear is universal. Every empire obeys quietly. 1527, manuscript completed. Words sharper than any blade. Controversy waits patiently. Death nears, but influence spreads. Kings read secretly. Fear validates his work. Even dismissed rulers seek counsel anonymously. Knowledge survives beyond exile. Ideas bend history. Men who ignore him still obey his logic. Influence is invisible, unstoppable. Exile teaches patience. Observation teaches ruthlessness. Writing teaches immortality. His enemies forget him in life. They cannot ignore his ideas in practice. Knowledge becomes fear. He dies quietly, unknown to the public. Influence endures silently. Fear echoes in secret chambers. History questions his morality, debates his lessons, but rulers still implement his logic unknowingly. Reputation is a paradox. Infamy hides wisdom. Silence conceals control. Niccolò Machiavelli, 1469 to 1527. Political theorist, writer, exile. He taught rulers to fear, obey, and understand human nature. Power listens even when denied, and ideas endure beyond thrones.